What is Raspberry Pi? What are its parts? How does it work? Raspberry Pi is a single-board computer manufactured in the UK by the Raspberry Pi Foundation. It was originally designed for education purposes, but it has since been adopted by designers, engineers and electronics enthusiasts in developing projects requiring more than a basic microcontroller. The thing about the Raspberry Pi is that you can do virtually anything with it that you can do with a complete full-sized computer. But it's cheap enough to dedicate it to a specific task, and it can do some things that a typical computer can't do. Yes, a Raspberry Pi can be used as a generic computer. You can browse the internet, play games, run the LibreOffice suite, blah, blah, blah. It will be slow compared to the computer you're using right this second, but it will work. BTW, a mobile phone is a computer, and the hardware in it is similar to a Raspberry Pi. You could store your movie and music collection, or links to them, on a computer and use it to stream your entertainment around the house. You could have a computer monitor your doors and windows, monitor and control your lights and your heating and cooling, and have it do all sorts of timed and interactive home control tasks. But would you want to assign a computer to do just that? What happens when you want to do some processor-intensive tasks like edit videos? A Raspberry Pi could do all those things, and be cheap enough to dedicate just to that specific task. Also, a Raspberry Pi breaks out a series of pins that can be attached to switches, temperature or light sensing devices, among other things, or connected to motors and lights, among other things. Originally, the Raspberry Pi was developed as a cheap platform to teach programming skills to children. Scratch is a programming language that is something like programming with blocks. It comes pre-installed on a Raspberry Pi, along with Python, Sonic Pi, music programming, and Node-RED, an easy way to connect Internet of Things devices. Other languages such as processing are easy to install. A Raspberry Pi is, barely, powerful enough to run OpenCV, which is software that provides enough image processing utility to teach a computer how to recognize colors or shapes or even faces. There's a simpler version of OpenCV called SimpleCV, which runs under processing rather than C. There are a lot of tutorial articles and videos that demonstrate and teach people how to do things like that, and I barely scratched the surface.